Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with 90-degree temps again in August in Virginia. I am happy on Mondays to be working on fall projects. We have our spooky sampler and we have our bats and Boo, and those two projects are what we work on Mondays right now. Now, I would not have scheduled these two together, but because the bats was delayed quite a bit. It was supposed to be in June, so it would have been a totally different thing had we been started it and finished in June. But here we are. So we have a lot of sewing for these two, and it's fun. That's fun. I'm enjoying it a ton. So first, let's look at the spooky sampler. We are doing 3 different parts this week. We'll do the applique and get that out of the way. See, I have a method to my madness. So here are the bats and then the little spideys. Now, little spideys you could substitute, like if you wanted a little friendship star block, like the same size as that unit. And then up here, if you wanted, you could put some more spider webs, or you could just do another block if you really, really don't want to do the applique. But I think you should. I think you should try it. And you can use my book, my Teach Me to Applique book. So that will help you out. And I have a few tips. Plus, if you do a search here at my YouTube, I have done lots of fusible applique demos in many, many things. So if you just put fusible applique into, or just applique into the search bar here at YouTube, you can get all of these different things coming up. What do we have? We have little spideys. Ta-da! And bats. And the third thing we're going to be doing besides the applique are the medium pumpkins. So let me show you my medium pumpkins so you can see the fabrics I used in case you want to do similar. So I have got cats, and then the stem is a little googly eyes again, and the leaves are that really pretty stripe. So there is a little pumpkin girl. Now we've got the pumpkins, and then I did 2 of these with the pumpkins in the cemetery. Yes, they're so friendly. Friendly pumpkins. See that friendly face on there? Look at that. So now the nice part is if you want to start sewing all of this together, once you do the bats, you can do the entire top row. So you can do all of that, and then you can sew the spideys to each other, and they'll be ready for here. So that is the fun part, getting these sections so that you can be just sort of assemble it so that you don't have the blocks hanging out, waiting to get lost. That's the way I always think. It's like I just have these loose blocks. I can always see like one of them goes missing. So I want to show you stitching up close on the spidey and then stitching up close on the bats. I did straight stitch on the spidey and I did blanket stitch on the bats. So let's take a look. So for this spidey, I have got a lot of very small pieces with all of the legs. So we will be doing a straight stitch, and I will be stitching right inside on the shape with a straight stitch, and then pivoting and going out to the other edges, pivoting and going out to the very tip of the leg, and then back again on itself, and then around. So I'm starting sort of in the junction between 2 of the legs, and I will go ahead and sew here. So I'm sewing right on the edge, and you want to be slow. This is not fast slow sewing, and because I have this open toe foot on, I can have great visibility. Also, every time I stop, I have the machine set so that my needle is down, the presser foot will lift. That way I can pivot without taking my hands off. So I'm going to come to the elbow juncture, and then I will pivot and we'll sew down to the next elbow. And this is, you don't have too many of these, just 2 spideys to do. And they're kind of fun. I just think they're a fun way to have a shape and have the applique. The non-stick needle is fantastic. You must get them. Okay, so we're going to come right out to the end of the leg, and then pivot, and then I will be coming right back on the same, pretty much on the same stitches, or maybe just right next to it as the leg gets a little bit wider. Okay, so there we go. Whoops, sorry. Got it in really close, so you can see. So there's the stitches, you can see them, they're straight stitches, right? Now, the body, because it's a little bigger, you could switch to a blanket stitch for the body, but I'm going to go ahead and do both the Spideys with just the straight stitch, and I'll show you the blanket stitch on the bat. For the blanket stitch, I'm using on my Solaris the 3-3 for the blanket stitch. It's a single, one straight stitch, one bite, one straight stitch, one bite, and this is what the stitch size is. So I've got the bat loaded in here, and we are going to come down to the corner, and your whole deal here is to keep right on the edge of the shape with the straight part of the stitch, and then you're going to have to, you know, adjust and rotate and shift just a little bit as you go, since this is curved. So I want to be sure that I'm not, you know, going too far away from that edge. Alright, so I'm getting down to the point, and you can see all this in my Teach Me to Applique book too. So I want to come down to the point, and I will let the needle go up and down, and then I will rotate and do up and down. It's sort of like walking one stitch at a time. There we go. And then I'm just getting it so that that edge is nice and tidy, and then now I can sort of go like I normally do. But because this is pretty curved, that means I will have to shift now. Like right now, if I didn't shift, it would sew right into the bat. So I need to rotate a little bit so that the next stitch is really nice and pretty. Rotate again. Always rotate when your needle is in the background, not on the shape. So here I'm stitch, and then it takes the straight stitch. Now I could rotate some, you know, angle it however I need. Now the curve is pretty soft, so I really don't need to do that. When I'm done stitching the entire bat, I will hit the button here, which does a locking stitch, and then you can clip the threads and it'll pull them right to the back. So there we go. I'm going to go and finish my bat. All right, that is how I approach it. If you want to look in my book, the applique book, I have a lot of step out photos that helps you walk through that. Your biggest thing is, you know, just relax and have some fun with it. When you're using matching thread color, I'm using black against the black Spidey and bat. You know, it's really very forgiving. From a distance, you really are not going to see the stitching at all. And then the other huge tip I have is these needles. These are the non-stick, and they really are a game changer for fusible, because with the spider you do need to have full fusible. You can't do the cutaway on the legs. They're just so tiny, so you have to do you know, there'll be full fusible under there. And then here's what the back of that looks like. So you can see the back of him, and if you want to see the back of the bat, there's the bat. Okay. Now that is the spooky sampler, and for those of you who are just joining, there are still some kits. So this is what the kit has. It's a generous kit, so you're going to have fabric to make some companion projects. You know, if you want to make extra table runners or make parts of these blocks for pillows like I did earlier, you know, you have a lot of room for flexibility there. Okay, the other thing we're doing is the bats and the boo. So we did bats last week. So you did 4 bats, and I have all my bats done. And this week we are doing the pumpkins. Ta-da! Look at this. So I am so excited that I used this older candy corn fabric. So let me tell you and show you how I approached getting everything ready to sew. So for the bats and boos, the pumpkin, I'm going with the background with the dots and 2 blacks for the accents, which are the stem and right at the bottom of the pumpkin. All the pumpkins will be the same. I could have used different pumpkins, but I decided they'd all be the same. And then really I want to use this candy corn, this older candy corn fabric, which is a bit stiff. The gray goods, which is the base good that they printed on back in the day, was not as good quality as we're using now. So this fabric is a bit stiffer, but it's so cute. And you know, I think it's a pretty neat combination. It may not be the 100% best, you know, to show it, but I really didn't want it white. I wanted to use some of that candy corn. So the first thing I did was cut everything and label it. Now I'm using the alphabetes. I have a lot of the letters and use other places, so I got out the pack that's the double letters. It's the same difference, so I know what everything is, and it's ready to sew. Now because I'm using the candy corn instead of the background fabric, I wrote that on my pattern. So there you go. You can see those are the 2 pieces I had to cut from the different fabric. Oh my goodness, look what I did. A big oops, got the bottom on upside down. So don't do like me, put it on correct. I'm gonna go have a little date with Jack and fix this. Okay, you can do it. This particular sew along, Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop, who is hosting this, is doing a video to show you how to put the block together. So that is linked at my website over to her playlist for this sew along. And you can catch all of the videos then related to it in one playlist. And I always link that on my website. And also the links to download these. These are free. So this one is a free sew along. And you can just pull like orange, black, and white, you know, background. That's really all you need. Now I decided, like I said, to do all of my pumpkins the same fabric, but you could do 4 different pumpkin fabrics. I think that would be just darling and super fun. I also, because of the way it's made, you know, I did the one pumpkin to show you, which means I have 3 more to do. I did do the stem units all at once, just because it was easy to do them, you know, do that all at one time. From this point forward to do the other 3, I am going to sew like all the star points, and then sew all the middle of the stars, sew all these units, sew all those units. So I will chain piece, you know, like a sweatshop. You know, I won't be doing it just to make one. It'll be more efficient, so I'll get the other 3 done really in less time that way. And they're all cut like I showed you. So I am ready to rock and roll on that guy. And I do like the candy corn. Now you could also play around with doing different fabrics for in there. You could just do one center. You wouldn't need to do a 4-patch. You could just do a center square. And if you had a different fabric you wanted to showcase. So there's ways to sort of make that personal and have fun with it. Alrighty, I just have a little mail call. I want to say thank you. Tina sent me a bunch of edges. Look at this one with the flags. So darling, so darling. So she sent me a group of these. Thank you, Tina. My pile is getting bigger and bigger for the edges, you know. Now Pat found some novelty prints, and when she saw them, she thought, oh, she would just get me, you know, send me some of her novelty prints because she knows how much I love them, and I truly do. So this is a beautiful card she sent me, and I'll show you these fabrics that she sent along. The super cute strawberries. I actually have several strawberry fabrics, which is so fun, and I don't have that one. Some little kitties with their bow ties. I adore this. Look at the little sailors in a couple of colors. I just love, and sailing stuff in red. You can never, if you see it, get it. Send it to me. There's a brown one too. Some unicorns. Gotta love unicorns. And cupcakes. Super sweet with cherries on top. And look at the farm animals. Oh my gosh. Look. Look at the cow's face. So sweet. So sweet. Thank you, Pat. I love it. I love it, love it. And I have one more mail call. This one is from, I think it's from Robin. There we go. I've lost my notes. It's from Robin. It's a little kit for a table runner. And so she knows how much I love Halloween and boy, how appropriate today. So thank you so much for thinking of me. I just adore it. It's going to be super cute to make up. All right, my friends, time for you to make pumpkins and bats and spideys and more pumpkins. So I love you. Mwah. See you online.